Well, give me a tablet over there. Should I get it? Or you got it?
Right on here.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Your host.
Must be me.
Must be you.
This is Kaz Kwiatkowski, City Councilman, and
Kaz's good friend, John Steiner. And welcome everybody to City Hall today, right?
yeah.
How's everybody doing today?
Well, we're close to breaking a record, John.
You know, we are within a foot of snow to break the all-time record. Absolutely, we should go for it. I think when we came this far, we might as well go the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think it was our friend DJ that brought the other foot when he came.
Yeah, DJ brought the snow from Colorado with him. I wonder if he'll sneak in today as a surprise visitor.
I wonder if he's here yet.
No, I haven't seen him. Usually, what time did he roll in last week?
About halfway through the show.
Yeah, I brought in the, let me see that newspaper. I don't know if anybody saw it today, but Erie is the top story in the New York Times today regarding the whole McBride Viaduct situation. I know 99.9% of you haven't read the article, but we did have a chance to look at it today. And I think that it's pretty much a lot of stuff that we've already talked about here on this show and throughout the community. It talks about how the east side has been choked off by the connector. But something that surprised me a little bit was how the article took more of a racist approach as to why the east side is failing a little bit. And, everybody knows that I grew up on the east side and am a lifelong east side resident. And the entire east side itself started decaying once the jobs started leaving over there. American Meter, Hammermill, a lot of those people worked and they lived in those houses over there, and they had the money to fix their houses up. They had the money to invest in businesses over there. And jobs and economic opportunity play an important role when it comes to taking a proactive approach against crime, drugs, blight. Unless you have jobs and financial opportunities, you're going to have decay. And the whole Bayfront Highway thing, the way it just cut through the entire heart of the east side and choked it off, was, at the time, it was viewed as a good thing, Kaz. But,
well, that's a thing, John. We look back in hindsight, but everybody, including the newspaper, the media, thought it was the greatest thing.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, I'm sorry.
That was planned. If you go back far enough, that whole concept was envisioned back in the 60s. But it didn't take fruition until much later. First we did the Bayfront Highway, then the connector. It was all part of a master plan that envisioned a arterial loop around the city. Wish I could find it. I know it's around. I had one at home somewhere, but I'm sure if I looked around City Hall, it was a master plan by the county about a road network, how the county would look. But that was based on how things were developing back in the 60s and 70s. Right. Everybody thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
But now we're looking back and going, well, it's not a great idea. And they're finding that out in Cleveland and in other cities.
Right.
But
a lot of cities that I've seen, I do a lot of research on the topics, and a lot of cities are, taking out parkways and stuff like, I know like Albany did it, and there's a couple other cities that have realized what a big mistake they've made by doing things like that.
Well, they did them, John, if you look back at the old Erie, okay, we had to figure out how to get people east to west, because GE was the big generator.
Yeah.
We also had to figure out how to get people around the Bayfront. We had a highway and a service road, both envisioned.
Right.
What we now use as the highway was actually the service road.
Right.
But when we tore out a lot of those businesses, it became the highway, and the service road concept was thrown out the window. The highway, which was going to be on the bluff, is now overbuilt by Hammett and other things.
Right.
So that went out the window. you look back, and a lot of the communities that took the roads out, things have changed. Factories, businesses.
Well, let's just think about the area where the viaduct is located and the entire east side itself. Like I had mentioned, we had Hammer Mill there, we had American Meter. I think Bucyrus Erie was in the bombed out buildings that are over there. Was that Bucyrus?
No, Bucyrus was on the west side.
Okay, what was on 12? Is it Erie Mount, or what was that?
Trying to remember.
I knew, people.
Well, you had Kaiser, you had.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what that plant was.
Yeah, because I remember.
Somebody will call and
somebody call and remind us what business used to be there. But those businesses are now gone. And when you have nobody over there with disposable income, the housing stock lowers, people don't have the money to invest, blight comes in, crime comes in. I remember as a kid, I ran those streets all the time on the Lower East Side. I played in the Anthony Wayne League over there, the Hammer Mill Fields, where Erie Insurance was. All those places were filled with people that lived there with jobs that would spend money at the different bakeries, the grocery stores, the little markets, the Balkan Bakery over there, the Hess Avenue Bakery. All those businesses were thriving because, you had Hammer Mill right there, and you had American Meter, and you had these other businesses where people were employed that had the money to invest in their property. It just seems, ever since Erie's been named, as far as African Americans, not, below the national average and stuff, I think, we have to do something about it. But it starts with job creation. The people that we've been hiring and been paying and putting money into to create jobs, honestly, have failed, in my opinion. Kaz, it's easy for me to say, you're an elected official, so it's hard for you to talk about some of that stuff, but I think that you and I in our private conversations would tend to agree that more needs to be done. I mean, what would you think? What do you think about that?
Hey, John, what sealed the fate of the bridge was when you build another one right alongside of it.
Yeah.
And you look at it now, we never took care of the bridge when we had the money. Mm-hmm. Now that we don't have the money.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I drove the viaduct all the time. I played ball at the fields over there, like I said, as an adult, most of my adult life. I would drive the viaduct 2-3 times a day. And honestly, I hated it when they put in the highway and they took down the viaduct. I thought it was terrible. Nope, going from east, and then they didn't even have it was so half, the way they did it, they didn't even have an off-ramp going up East Avenue, so they choked off the East Avenue part of it. It's weird. You could get off of it on Buffalo Road if you're coming north. But if you're going south to get from this part of town to that part of town, you have to go around everything, and it's just...
See, now we're redressing that problem years later.
Yeah, it's like, nobody has any hindsight or foresight as to what needs to be done as far as the engineering. I don't get it. Is it to save money? Probably. Whenever a decision is made, you follow the money. But I think, the city and the county are starting to work together on fighting blight. I see a lot of houses are being, torn down that need to be. I think the city is heading in the right directions, but the job creation groups got to start producing. They have to start getting their act together, because without jobs, the rest of it, if you have jobs, that not only will jobs fight the crime, the blight, the drug use, you have to start a cycle of, not even a cycle of financial power, purchasing power. Businesses will come back.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Erie City Manufacturing was on the corner. Erie City Ironworks took up most of all that, all the way over to Wayne Street.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Hey, what was the name of that boiler company that was there, too? Do you remember?
That was Erie City Ironworks. They built boilers for all over the world.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if they had a different name, but...
Well, Zerns took them over.
Yeah, you have AccuRide over there. They hire a lot of guys over there, and they pay them a fair wage. I think they're definitely an asset to this community, but we've lost. The east side itself has lost so much. And it wasn't due to race. It was just due to...
Well, the whole city lost.
Yeah, everywhere in the Rust Belt, but especially the east side, because that's where the global market economies crushed us. And they all moved out of there. When those jobs move, I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, doesn't matter what you are. If there's no jobs over there, eventually the whole neighborhood's going to go whoop, and that's what's happened over there.
You still there, sir? Oop.
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, that's it. Manufacturing is left. All your big, employers. The Cyrus is gone. Sterilizer is gone. Hammer Mill's gone. Erie City Ironworks is gone. Erie Manufacturing is gone. GE is gone.
Yeah.
Toy factory, Mark's.
Yeah, Marx is gone.
The whole, the President Trump, I don't agree with 99.9% of the stuff he does, but I'm telling you right now, the one thing that he is focusing on right now, and I hope he does manage to improve, are our trade agreements. I don't mind the NAFTA as far as Mexico and Canada. We want Mexico and Canada strong financially, but we need to stop our companies from leaving there. And the trade, the trade balance is so weighed against us that our companies, we can't compete. And shipping our jobs over there, it's not. Granted, you can get a 50-inch big screen smart TV for $250, but in the meantime, our communities are crumbling.
Economy's missing out.
Yeah, the whole economy is tanking, but getting manufacturing jobs back here, I know that as far as the state goes and the city, and they're all starting to work together, but we need some people out there bringing jobs here, trying to bring some jobs here, because it's been too long since these different organizations have gotten money. They've gotten casino money, they've gotten federal money, they've gotten city and state money, and they haven't done a darn thing, and I'm tired of it.
No, they haven't. One other thing, Kaz.
Yeah.
The light on Buffalo Road and Pear Street, that isn't needed anymore. Is anybody studying to take that out?
You mean the traffic light?
Yes.
Where's it? Buffalo Road and Pear?
Yeah, Buffalo Road and Pear. It used to be Burton School.
Ah. What are you talking about, a school light or a traffic light?
No, it's a traffic light. It used to be there for, Burton School was there. Burton School is closed.
So you're talking one block west of Downing.
Right.
Yeah, it's right.
Okay, I'll have to bring it up to the traffic engineer, see if she'll look at it and make a...
You know where he's talking about, right?
Yeah, I go by there on the way to Ricardo's once in a while.
Yeah.
I'll hang up and let somebody else call in now.
Hey, thank you for calling. Buffalo and Pear Street light.
Right.
Gotcha.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, it's like, when you think of all the, that's really the problem with the city. I mean,
Hey, did you guys mention?
Go ahead, caller.
Sounds like John.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How you doing, John?
Just super. Hey, did you guys mention Uniflow?
No, we haven't got through all of them yet.
Well, I'll tell you what, the east side used to be a real booming thing, but when you lost your coal docks, your oil, your pulpwood docks, the grain elevator, and everything else, nobody wants to come to Erie because the taxes are too high. And it's not, like John said, it's not an industrial joint anymore.
Well, the east side used to be the industrial. In any city, the east side would be more of the industrial corridor, whereas the west side would be more of the residential and commercial. But as soon as, like we just talked about, as soon as the industrial left, whoop, down goes property value. And people on the west side, they think it doesn't hurt them or bother them. Yeah, it does, because that revenue's got to come from somewhere. So just like you said, John, the taxes go up.
That's why they don't want a bridge to the peninsula on the east side.
There's a couple of reasons why they don't want a bridge to the...
Biggest right there, economy. They want everything over on the west side.
If we had a bridge to the peninsula on the east side, it would rejuvenate the entire east side.
I think the transportation secretary just said, what'd she announce?
Negative.
She wasn't in agreement with it?
Well, yeah, okay. But you can't build a bridge. It would have to be a tunnel. The reason, John, you can't...
Either a tunnel or a drawbridge.
Yeah, they did studies on it. I don't think.
Well, Julian tried to do that years ago.
Who?
Julian Pulaski.
Oh, Julian Pulaski,
okay. Yeah. From what I heard, John, if you started a bridge to get over, you'd have to start it on East Lake Road.
Well, yeah, because you had to have all that draw up and down.
Yeah. So that, and a tunnel, you couldn't do a tunnel underneath the right under the the slit there.
The North Pier.
Yes, you couldn't do a tunnel under there. You would have to start it down by where the ore docks are a little and slant it across, which would cost about, from what I had heard, $25 million or something like that in order for it to take place.
Billion or million?
What's that?
Did you say billion or million?
Oh, no, million. 20 billion, we could pretty much
I'm trying to think
could build our own peninsula.
That Secretary of Transportation that was here, they asked for the question. And it was definitely, didn't sound like they were in favor of it. They might go for, I thought, a ferry boat or something, but.
Yeah, but big deal. Nobody wants it.
But I don't think, it didn't seem like the state was behind it.
Well, I think the state is behind it. I think there is positive movement towards it. But the thing is that the whole east side, I mean, it's got to be rejuvenated. I mean, the last thing we need is for trouble on the peninsula.
You know, the feasibility of a ferry boat doesn't seem proper because there's not going to be enough people getting ferried across to sustain the cost of running it.
I'll have to look back on a newspaper article, but it didn't seem like the state was really into a bridge or a tunnel.
I mean, if you think about it, you know, people, how much would you charge to ferry your car right across I mean, would it just be cheaper? I mean, it wouldn't be economically viable for a ferry company or anybody to do that.
I took a high-speed ferry to Nantucket. It cost me $50.
Yeah.
I keep saying, if this was Pittsburgh, we'd have that bridge. We'd have a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we just don't have the political power and the population.
That's true.
That'll drive all things.
Talk about political power. I know how we can get some revenue.
How's that?
Get all those speeders on 38th Street.
I brought it up to the chief the other day at our meeting.
Nuts.
I brought up at the council meeting that they're going much, much too fast.
Oh, my God, they're going across there 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, even in a 25-mile-an-hour posted zone by the Vets Hospital.
Well, I know they post up and do a lot of speed checks by St. Luke's. St. Luke's is where they pull the cars in and give them the ticket.
In there by the parking lot, yeah.
Yeah, they post up right on Parade Boulevard because you can't see them, you know, because of the topography of it, and you can't see the cars. So when they come flying by, whoop, pull in over here, buddy.
You know, you get up there around 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you could get probably 80, 90 people.
Oh, they'll do it in the summertime. I know they do it there often. That's one of their favorite spots.
They're doing it right now. I get the big old bird thrown at me because they think I'm going too slow.
Yeah.
And I'm doing 30 miles an hour, 32 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Yeah.
I went to Cleveland about 2 weeks ago, and I was surprised they have...
You got arrested for going too slow.
No, they have... my GPS went nuts. It goes traffic cam ahead, red light camera ahead, speed camera ahead. They were using a lot more of that in Ohio, especially in areas where they had trouble. And I'm thinking, it's not a bad idea for the Commonwealth someday to come up with, you know, where we can't have a guy stationed on 38th Street. Just every once in a while put a speed camera, you know.
What are those cameras above on these new lights going over 38th Street? Is that just for routing, keeping the traffic going, or what?
I don't think they're speed cameras. I think they're there to control, to count the traffic and to control the lights, to change them at, you know, given time periods.
True.
I'll find out for you, but
we're...
By
38th and Wayne, they have a light where the traffic can go down Wayne, go north. These people are running that red light. They don't realize they're breaking the law.
See, I don't think we have authorized use of cameras yet in Pennsylvania.
No, I don't think so either.
But I think it's a good idea. I saw the ones when I was in Cleveland. They looked like they had little things pointing straight down that could basically tell if you ran like a red light, if you broke that signal.
But I think if they do that, the state's got to give the people 2 license plates, one in the front and one in the rear.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah.
Capture it.
Some states, they just mail you the ticket. They don't even bother pulling you over.
Yeah.
You just get it in the mail, and next thing you know, boom. Pay.
I mean, look, we all go a little bit fast, but when you start going 10 to 15 miles over the speed limit, that's a little too much.
Hey, put my street on the list for repairs, will you?
Again, we will do that, but
The whole thing. I mean, I'm going to cry like your buddy used to do. What was his name? About Marion Street? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mr. Erie County guy. He wanted to get the water department. So put Page Street on.
We'll do it, John.
From 42nd all the way down to 38th Street.
So when are you coming on?
When am I coming on? I'll be down there Wednesday.
Uh-oh.
Why?
Well, you'll be there Wednesday, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're on the
Yeah.
What's Wednesday?
towing review board.
Towing review board? Nice. Okay.
You know, the last time I heard there was a meeting, it was in 206.
I'll have to find out. I'll find out for you.
I got the old paper that I used to have. So, but you guys had take good care. Hey, one more quick thing.
Go ahead.
You go up Canavino Way there on the opposite side. There's a tree coming down into the road. Off the other side, going farther from, it would be on the north side of the street. I think the storm has knocked it over. And if somebody wants to edge you out there, you're going to hit that tree. It's hanging over.
It's
Right around the corner there.
on Canavino Way. You mean up by the ballpark?
No, off the other end. I call that whole 38th Street down there Canavino Way, but they only give them a half a block.
It's down near the zoo more, you mean?
Yeah, up the hill there. You know where you join the traffic, you're supposed to merge give the guy behind you a break, and if he doesn't give you a break, you'll get broke yourself. That speed zone, that area where everybody wants to get into the lane.
Oh, you mean right there? Okay.
Up above just across the way there.
Okay, that's isn't that East 38th Street?
Yeah. No, it's on West 38th Street going east.
Yeah.
But the trees were just laying over. They've just got to go in with some lopers and knock those branches because they're sticking halfway into the road.
I'll drive it and see if I can see it, okay?
Be careful. If they push you too far to the right, you'll hit your window.
Okay, but it's not down that section down near the ballpark.
No, it's up above.
Okay.
You know, the section they wanted to buy and the person wouldn't sell it?
I think so. I'll take a ride there, though.
Hey, Cass, I'll see you Wednesday.
If I can't find it, I'll give you a call and you can...
I'll go down with my chainsaw.
Thanks, John.
Take care.
You know, Kaz, another thing I wanted to talk about. You know, on the news it reported that the Erie Police Department is opening up a new precinct at Erie High School. Mm-hmm. Not true. It's not a new precinct. It's just a satellite office. So they're not going to be rolling police in and out of there or anything. It's a satellite office, which is good. And if the news, you know, wants to report it as a new precinct to deter anybody from going in there and getting stupid, that's a good thing, I guess. But it's not a new precinct. It's just a satellite office, from what I understand. So it's, you know, half the stuff you read on the news or read in the newspaper or hear on the news, take it with a half a grain of salt, a half a grain. Because a lot of the time it's, you know, it's skewed. Not skewed, but, you know, it's incorrect, I guess you could say. But to get back to this article in the paper today, it's a good thing, you know, I don't know if you know, but a group of people from the McBride Viaduct went down to Harrisburg today. And it's like the timing of it is pretty good. You know, they are in the New York Times, and then they go see the governor. But here's the thing. Governor's not there today. Actually, the governor's going to be here tomorrow. He's going to be in Erie. So, I mean, you know, Godspeed to those guys, but they could have saved some gas and just talked to him tomorrow. But he is coming into town tomorrow. So he's having an event down here in Erie, and he's going to be around Erie tomorrow. So, you know, the whole East Side situation is very tough to tackle, and I think you know, the new mayor's been put in a tough spot as far as what has happened prior. But a lot of it's not his fault, but, you know, nobody wants to hear that, and people get up on their pedestals, and some arguments are good, some arguments aren't. So we just got to take it from there and see what happens. But
So what does the article basically say, John?
Well, basically the article, you know, talks about you know, how they want to, it's a preservation article type of thing where they want to preserve, and then it goes into poverty rate, you know, then they turn it into a racial issue, and then they turn it into, you know, a crime issue. And, you know, then, you know, if there's pictures in here of, you know, there's a woman praying at the church, and there's a picture of the bridge, and then there's a picture of police arresting somebody. I think, it's like, well, what is it? They try, but I'm going to tell you something right now. This time of year, especially in Erie or any newspaper, election cycles are coming up. Okay? The Republicans and Democrats, anytime you see something, don't be surprised if they start coming around with checks. This is the time of year when checks start getting thrown around. The Republicans are going to start pushing anything against the Democrats and vice versa. So anything you read or see in the news or in the newspaper, you got to take with a grain of salt, because it's that time of the year. When the checks go flowing, usually in November, the elections. So usually September. You don't want to do it too close to the elections. So checks start flowing to communities in like September, August, September especially. And in the primaries, it's usually March or early April, because you don't want to do it too close to an election because it looks like you're buying votes. So usually those are when the checks flow. So don't be surprised if checks start flowing real time. And we got the governor race, and there's some serious races going on this year. People better start coming out to vote, because I'm tired of hearing complaints, and hearing drama, and then nobody coming out to vote. And the people that aren't voting and I know this for a fact because I'm involved, and I look at the voting registry and who votes where and who doesn't vote. And it's the people on the Lower East Side. They're not voting. So if you want this, you want that, because when it boils down to it, Kaz, every elected official pays attention to the voting blocks, where the votes are coming from. So they need to come out and vote. If they all voted, who knows? But until you vote, you do matter, but you don't matter as much as the 6th Ward, the 4th Ward, the 5th Ward, where we're from. Our vote, I think ours is the highest voted, the 5th Ward. That's the highest turnout of all the wards.
5th and 6th.
Yeah, 5th and 6th, and Grover Cleveland and Joanna Connell and Deal. And then I'm trying to think where at in the 4th Ward, down by the Frontier area. Where do they vote at? Isn't there the church down there? Or there's a couple places. Where's the big one in the 4th Ward? I'm trying to think. But the Lower West Side,
Is that the old, what'd they call it?
St. Joseph's Home has a lot of people. St. Joseph's.
The orphanage, maybe? Down there?
St. Joseph's, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where the nuns live?
Could
Well,
be.
it's a home, it's a house, it's housing. I think it's for nuns now.
Nobody really wanted to, tear down that bridge for nefarious reasons,
Yeah. I wish the bridge was still there, to be honest with you.
The problem is that we're faced with some economic issues.
Serious economic issues.
And we don't even have enough money for paving, long range. We're going to have to come up with money.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that if it's not a driving bridge, I don't know. That bridge has been scheduled to be torn down for 7 years. And I don't know everything about it, but they've had a lot of time. I don't know if this group or the other group, a lot of time to raise money and to try to do what they can. I applaud those people. A lot of them I like. I know them. A lot of them I like. Some of them, I don't know. But it's unfortunate. The whole East Side needs to be revamped, but
I'd rather see them build a new bridge further down.
I don't know if that's,
we don't have a bridge between McBride and Downing.
McBride and Franklin Avenue. That's the other.
Downing, there's a crossing.
Yeah, why can't they just put a crossing where?
Well, we do need a crossing somewhere else, but we don't have it.
You just have to put it where the viaduct is, or just make that into a crossing. I don't know, Kaz. I don't know.
But hey, the trouble with the city is everybody's abandoned it. That's no secret.
Mm-hmm.
You look, and people that work in the city,
well, we've talked about that.
They've all moved out.
Yeah, everybody what's the busiest road at 430? We've talked about it 100 times.
Bayfront Highway.
Bayfront Highway. People with the high paying jobs.
And then they all want.
Roll out of town, and then they get upset that they have to pay the, income, or what is it, the working tax, or what's that called?
Yeah, the extra.
Yeah.
Income tax.
But they want good roads, and they want the roads plowed so they can get to work, and they want Smooth, no potholes, but they don't want to pay the tax, because they feel that they pay taxes out where they live. Oh. Everybody's got money. The city, or Mill Creek's got money.
I mean, they come here to work.
The county's got money. Every township in Erie County has money except for the city. Because we provide all the services, and we have all the nonprofits where everybody works.
And we can't, we don't have anybody dying to come in here and set up a business like the old days, when anything new that came to the city. Not anymore.
No, nobody comes here. You know why? Here's why. We talked about it. I'm a businessman. I'm running a business. Okay. Let me look at the demographic study. What? Poverty? What? They could do what? And they go, oh my God. But the only one that looks at this report and says, I got to move my business there is the CEO of Dollar General. He's like, oh man, this is our type of place. But any type of CEO or anybody that's involved in that, they look at our demographic study and they're like, are you kidding me?
Well, we tried to, like I said, I keep talking about my old parish priest. Tried to get an Applebee's in the city. And they just poo-pooed it and said, nah,
Yeah.
But yet they moved it over less than a mile down the road.
And then on top of it, a CEO has to come here. How are you going to get it? We can't even get an airplane. We have this great new runway, but we can't get no airplanes on the darn thing. We've got, a flight to Pittsburgh? Do we even have a flight to Pittsburgh anymore?
Oh,
we got to go to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
And Philadelphia is the worst airport in the country.
Philadelphia, Detroit, and Chicago.
Oh, that's great. No wonder.
Go ahead, caller.
All right, you bums.
Here we go.
John, look at your phone and show Kaz that picture, and then you guys can talk about turning the viaduct into a tourist.
Hey, I did it we're doing it on Facebook Live. Are you on Facebook? Check and see if it's
on Facebook. I'm actually watching you guys on the Ustream.
Did you? I tried to put it on Facebook, but it's probably a disaster. Who knows? This is the first time I've tried.
It's complicated.
Is that you blowing up my cell phone? I hear it going ding dong, ding dong.
Yeah, just take a look at the pictures and then show Kaz that I went to St. Louis. And they had the arch, right? But on the opposite side of the river, you climb up this tower that looks like it was made out of an old bridge or something. So maybe that could be done. Maybe it could be converted. I know, I say turn it down, and I was also saying just show me where the city keeps its dynamite, and I'll solve your problem. But outside of that, I'm hoping it just gets torn down soon, and then maybe they could build a small pedestrian bridge. That would be way cheaper than all of the other options.
You know what would be nice? You know how they have by Barron? You know how they have the walkway where you go across the bayfront by Barron?
Yeah.
Something like that. You don't need that monstrosity.
The people are saying that the people want a bridge to walk, then yeah, make a small walkway. And this is no longer going to be a driving bridge, because if you walk, 50 feet to the west, yeah. There's the bridge. So,
well, the decision's already been made for the state. I mean, at this point, it's a moot point. They don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, well, then take it down, and then if it's really needed, then people can make an organization, a nonprofit organization, and build up some funds to build a small pedestrian bridge.
I mean, I could see if the city was flipping the bill on the destruction or whatever you want to call it, then we could talk about it. But the city's not paying.
5 cents of it, that's it.
5 cents out of every dollar? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we don't even, there's no romance without finance, so we can't romance anybody. We got to do what the state tells us to do.
The cost of upkeep and the insurance and the price to make it legal and ADA compatible right now just ain't going to happen. And the money is there to take it down. Take it down. It is dangerous. It's got holes in it. I walked on it last year. There's holes that go all the way down to the ground. Yeah. So what are you going to do? You get your leg stuck in a hole, you're going to sue somebody over it. So just take it down, be done with it, and if they want a bridge so bad, they need to come up with some funding and do a Kickstarter. Everybody else does a Kickstarter for dumber things. So have them do a Kickstarter, make a pedestrian bridge. There you go. I mean,
I wish something could be done. I mean, there's a lot of people that have their hearts into it, and I want to have it saved.
Yeah, I know, and I don't want to downplay, what people are saying and feeling.
I don't either, because
about it. Then they need to direct that to the future and to a more positive.
A lot of good people are championing the project, but like I said, the finance isn't there, and it's not even really a city; it's a state. It's a state thing.
Exactly. But I'll let you guys go. I just wanted to let you know I made it back alive. And it was good popping in, and I'll probably see you guys in a couple months.
Can't wait. Come on back.
All right, later.
Okay.
Later. Bye.
Was that?
That was DJ.
Wow, it didn't sound like him with that.
Yeah.
He got a little sound. You know, I was in Minneapolis where that bridge collapsed.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, now that went up quick, and that goes to show you, how bridges can.
Yeah.
And they have a stone arch bridge there in Minneapolis that is beautiful. But here's the difference. It's alongside the Mississippi. They spend a lot of money on the area around it. It's got housing, commercial establishments, a beautiful view of the city. And, when we look at our bridge,
we have the view of the junkyard and a building that could tip over it and railroad tracks. It's just, if it was in a different location, it would be great. I mean,
or if we made a commitment to develop around there.
The future of cities is sustainability. Okay, that's the new keyword. That's the new sustainability. Walkable cities. Walkways, parks. Healthy living, which is the way of the city, and that would coincide with that. But it's a cost prohibitive state situation in a really bad location. And they can't raise the money to help sustain it. Now, I don't know what else they can do. I mean, at this point, the state is not listening anymore. It's sad. I mean, I'm an East Side person. I've lived, all my life, but it's time to let it go.
The way it was explained to us, John, was, they would fix that bridge. Okay?
Yeah.
But as it was explained to us, there's only so much money for Erie.
Yeah.
And if you want to use your money on that, that's okay, but that means
no money for anything.
The Buffalo Road improvements, which are, the other intersection, the pedestrian walkway to take care of the issue with the kids crossing the highway.
Yeah. I mean, that's a picture too, of the kids jumping the highway. Now that is bad. That is not good.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with McBride, though. Okay, that's further down the road, okay?
Yeah.
That's going to be taken care of in what they call the Buffalo Road phase, which is a separate project, okay? And even if something tells me, even if we put a walkway, okay, at Buffalo Road, and they're going to fix up the one near Elm Street, where you get off now.
Yeah.
Those two are going to be taken care of. Kids are still going to take the shortcut.
Right.
And no matter what you do, and they're doing it, so you can make a case that even with McBride here now, they're still cutting over it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's a good point.
I mean, the McBride's not even down and they're still taking it.
That's a very good point, yeah.
So is McBride the
save all?
The impetus for making them hop the fence?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, all I know is that this is taking way too long.
I mean, we talked about when we did the Buffalo Road project, when they put the interchange in, there's going to be a pedestrian walkway. And they're also going to try to tune up the one down by Elm Street. But people being people, they're still going to do what they're going to do.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the group have somebody that did a study that they brought on board to do a study, and the study showed that it should be torn down?
You mean the engineer that?
Yeah, or they brought somebody, because that night I was here when they had that big.
They had a guy named Hank Grego that did a study for them.
I think they had somebody do their own study.
Yeah, Hank Grego.
And the night that we were here for that big public, or I think it was your guys at City Council. Remember we were here, and I think they had their own person do a study that said that you can't save it. It's not economically viable.
It was Mr. Hank Grego.
Is that who it was?
And I had that copy in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I was.
I had a copy of it myself, and I took it home and read it over, and it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just a combination of everything on the east side between.
Hey, John, look, in Pittsburgh, they built a tunnel
Well, that's
basically to the football stadium for 10 games a year.
yeah. Well, that's Pittsburgh and Philly.
And
They get
there
all
you
the
go.
love. Pittsburgh and Philly, they get all the love, and we're this. When I go down to the stuff in Harrisburg, like when the governor got the inaugural, I was down there and I went to some of the stuff, the inaugural crap ball or whatever. People don't even know where Erie's at. They don't even know Erie exists. It's like, oh, you guys, oh, Erie, aren't you guys like over there by like Pittsburgh or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's up by the lake. That
But
big,
that's
that
our
big
fault.
watery, that wet stuff up there.
A
Yeah,
lot of it's our fault.
sure it is. Nah, I mean, I don't know if that's. I mean, they just don't. They don't know he exists because we're so far down on the totem pole.
Our own people always downgrading our city.
Or our own
A lot
people.
of them, and
then you get the New York Times saying that we're terrible. The African American they say it's 4 times poorer than whites. But guess what? There's a lot of poor white people too.
Well, I mean, the city's got problems, but we have the people that have the ability, the Chamber of Commerce and those groups.
God, don't even.
Hey, I'll give you an idea. You cross the border at Maryland
Yeah,
into Pennsylvania, all right?
yeah.
That's one of the gateways. People coming out of Florida, the south, coming into up north, right?
Yep.
Try to find some from Erie down there.
Yeah. We've had people that have.
Try to find some, what do you call it, pamphlets or anything. Yeah. And
It's a combination of, we did have some groups that came in and tried to start, the inland ports and this and that, and they did try to bring jobs here, and then, then it's a lot of it's our fault too. Everybody's got that not in my backyard approach. Okay, well, whose backyard are we going to put it in? You complain about paying the taxes for your backyard, how they're out of control, and, you complain and this and that, but when it comes to bringing jobs and revenue to lower your taxes and to save money, not here, buddy. Don't even try.
Well,
but the way they went about that was all wrong.
hey, what's that?
When they went out to Harbor Creek, remember when Develop Erie or whatever, went out to Harbor Creek and they bought the property, and then they said, oh, Harbor Creek, by the way, we're going to start running dump trucks through the center of your commercial area.
Hey, we
there.
would have taken it in the city. We told them.
Yeah.
We would have had it.
You could have put it right on 12th.
We would have taken it.
Absolutely.
I
Well,
was
that's
gonna-
industrial. You can't run dump truck after dump truck after dump truck through the heart of that's like running it up at the mall. They would destroy what they're trying to build commercially out there in the plaza. What's the plaza out there? Is that the Wesleyville Plaza? Or no?
Where's that?
Harbor Creek.
There used to be the mall out there.
No, on Buffalo Road. Is that Harbor Creek or is that Wesleyville?
That's probably Harbor Creek.
Yeah, it's Harbor. Yeah, that's what I thought. They want to run dump trucks through the center of their commercial property. Are you kidding me?
But we would have taken it.
What? They went and bought it first,
Yeah.
and then said, okay, by the way, we're going to run. Let's have a meeting and talk about it. What do you guys think? You got to include the community on what's going on.
Well, we would have loved it in our industrial quarter.
Absolutely. We have, but see, that's just it. We have industrial area not, running through our top commercial area. That would be like putting something right there and running it through center of State Street.
Well, that was that guy that they got rid of finally.
Oh, John Elliott. That Develop Erie.
They always say the men of vision.
Yeah, in his defense, he tried. But the way they went about it, wrong.
Well, the devil's in the details.
Yeah. I mean, the way they went about it, he did try. He did try, and that's a perfect example
That was like when I was,
of economic development money that we've put out there where not one person has done what they were supposed to do.
when I was interviewed by the Times.
And now we're still paying for that.
Well, sure we are.
We're still trying to sell that property, and people are standing back going, keep letting the figures drop, let them drop. Okay, we'll give you peanuts. Here's peanuts. And we're like, thank you for the peanuts.
That's like when I was interviewed by the Times. And they wanted me to question Erie Insurance as to what they were going to do with their property. And I go, why would you?
Yeah. Oh, the biggest employer.
What are they really going to do that would be?
That pay taxes.
Yeah, but what would they do, John, that would be at the wildest they could do if they owned a property? What could they possibly do to be wild? I don't think they'd be putting a bar in there.
No. What you know? What
You know.
Well, we got an office building going right here.
Look, seven floors of steel going up now.
Have you been by Fifth and German? They're building a historic. The wood is there from the oldest wooden structure in the city. It is part of the foundation. I just rode by it today. They're starting to build a historic, a 21st century combination historic village using the oldest wood from the oldest house in Erie to build a community where people can come and live and bring money. You need people like that to move downtown, to support the businesses, to help bring the downtown back. And they pay taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
The first step is that. Now we got to figure out how to get people to move back into the city.
That's how. Go ahead.
You know, it's easy to, I always joke with my compatriots out in the county. It's great when you got everybody moving in and you got business and housing. You can be a genius and run that kind of budget.
Yeah.
Try ours right now where we're challenged, you know.
You can't, the problem with Erie is we have too many non-profitable entities on our most profitable property on the bayfront. And it's not any of your problem. It was done before any of us, even you guys, came into office.
And it's what Buki says. When everybody, stresses Buki as the, what do you call him, the God, the Moses?
We could have wrote that plan.
But, yeah, we could have. But what he did was quantified with numbers and mathematics. He has the ability to go in there with a staff and draw out the numbers. But here's the thing. He says the same thing we all know. Those services need to be shared. Now that's a tricky question. Imagine telling the suburbs that you have to share and have some of these social agencies. Then I hear people go, well, they should all be in one spot. Yeah. Why?
Okay.
Why? Number one, who gets that, right?
Right.
Who gets that, what do you call it, that entity that...
Well, see, you and I have talked about it before. You can't put 140, how much were those condos up by Arby's there?
Oh, God, who knows, hundreds of thousands.
$100,000 condo. A block away from the Mental Health Association, which is located on 10th,
and near bars and
or
everything
11th.
else.
Bars and the city mission. I mean, if you, and at the time, Griswold Park, they've done a lot of good work up there with the brewery and all that area. But at that time, there was a lot of vagrants, and during the daytime, who in their right frame of mind is going to pay that kind of money for a condo there? Now you do need to introduce inner city living to young people. This is where the culture is. This is where the action is. As a young person, this is the kind of thing you want. So you do need to build the arts. You do need to have that type of inner city atmosphere. But the Boston store, those apartments in the Boston store are very nice. But guess what? They're Section 8 now. Because people have moved out. Only thing that's moved in here recently are bars and Dollar Generals. Because there's nobody in the Mid-City Towers and all those places, Schmidt Towers, they're all good people, but they're low-income people, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a financial reality.
But it can't all be in the same area. You can't.
It's a cluster of poverty.
And you can't have that. You have to spread it out.
Yes.
Because it's not, how can we be, I'll put it right on, you don't think they'd want to see this out in Mill Creek or Harbor Creek?
No, let's put the city mission, let's put the Mental Health Association, all those in Mill Creek. Let's take all of our nonprofits, post them up in Mill Creek, and watch how their tax base plummets. And you just wait, Mill Creek, just wait. When the fire department, you guys are going to be paying for fire department real soon. Because the ball's already rolling, and once they start paying for fire, their taxes are going to go whoop. You watch, it's coming. The balls, they've already got a commission. They're already in Summit. They're already starting to pay people up there, but they get the casino money, and that's a whole different story. We'll talk about the casino in a minute too.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that place.
The casino, I hate that place.
What happened? It got sold, huh?
Yeah, they bought it. I can't. All that casino has done up there is, in my opinion, has sucked the life out of this community. Just sucked it right out of it. People are up there spending their life savings, their pensions, everything that they have. A lot of people, don't get me wrong. It's not everybody. But when you go up there, the busiest times are the first of the month. People that are, and it's the penny slot machines that are the most busy. Those are the people that can least afford to go up there and donate are the ones that are going up there. A lot of people don't realize and hear about all the tragedy that goes on outside. And, a friend of mine was involved with the volunteer fire department out there. The suicides that are taking place in that parking lot, if the public actually really knew what was going on up there, it's sad. It's really sad. And honestly, at first I was like, oh, cool, racetrack and we got horse racing. But honestly, in my opinion, it's been nothing but a purge on this community and honestly a purge on all communities. The restaurant, the casino itself, I've been to a lot of them. That casino, I think, is one of the worst. And a lot of people don't like it either. I don't know. What have you heard about that? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't think it's one of the better ones.
No, I think it's a hole. And a lot of people just don't.
They just sold one of the most impressive ones in Bethlehem.
Well, did Churchill Downs buy? I think Churchill Downs bought ours.
Yeah.
Did they buy the one in Bethlehem too?
No, some Indian organization out of Florida.
Yeah.
But I think the difference was they paid billions.
Yeah.
And I think ours went for millions. Yeah. That shows you
the casino does employ a lot of people, and my daughter works there, so they do bring some value, but as far as a community as a whole, it's sucking the life out of it. And we're not.
You go to the one in Bethlehem, John, they got numerous restaurants in there.
We don't have any.
And,
we do. We have a couple in there, yeah.
But they have like 8 or 9 in the one in Bethlehem. Okay. Plus they got a mall. Plus they got a hotel attached to it. Yeah.
Well, you're starting to see the real estate. The real estate was the first, all the lots, they were for sale forever. Now you have a hotel up there, you have Taco Bell, you have a couple small businesses, but until you stop,
But they're not tied into the casino either.
Not at all. Every casino you go to, their number one goal, I remember when Niagara Falls first built theirs. I took a walk around Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is worse than Erie. They had their downtown is way worse than ours. It is completely abandoned. The casino was thriving. People, money, restaurants are full. Right across the street was a Pizza Hut, out of business. The second you allow food and alcohol within that casino, people aren't going to leave. They're going to stay there and they're going to spend their money there, and the entire community. And that's why it took a long time. I wasn't surprised. It's taken forever. Like the Country Tavern, for example, is parked right up by the casino. Mm-hmm. Still for sale. All those little lots are for sale. Nobody's going to invest in them because the casino themselves their number one goal is to keep you there, suck all your money in, and nobody around it. I thought, when I went to Niagara Falls, I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be, I'm going to see some improvement. This downtown is going to be thriving. There's going to be people, the restaurant, nothing. It was bare.
Well, if I remember right, they don't put clocks inside there, right?
Oh, no. They try not to put windows either.
And they try to make you think like you're...
And no windows. Think about it.
You're like in daylight all the time.
Yeah. They don't put clocks. They don't put windows. Anything that is to keep you oblivious to how long you're actually there and how much money you're spending. In the casino, a lot of families that the gambling problems, I'm familiar with it. Gambling is a really serious problem that people kind of downplay as far as, drugs, alcohol. But gambling is a family killer too. It is a family killer.
Well, go back years ago when the clubs had slot machines in this community, way back. The guys would literally gamble their paychecks away. Yeah. But there was a joke, John. You had the bar over here, and behind you was a machine, and you had these swivel chairs. You go, turn around, and that was back in I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was ever legal, but it was like, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
Back in the 40s and 50s.
Well, back in the Capone days.
Not Capone days, but they had the slots and.
Yeah.
And
20s and 30s.
they were active, The old timers will tell you that.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
I mean,
5 minutes. It's we've done a lot of the talking today. People, I don't know, they're not even watching today, or
I don't know. I had a gentleman complain that our voice was down over the weekend.
yeah, somebody told me that too. That
But they do listen. They're just sometimes they call and sometimes they don't. But
yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, today was a slow day as far as the phones go, but I think we touched on a few good topics today. But yeah, I mean, we just got to start. I mean, job creation is number one. You got to have jobs.
well, part of that is the Commonwealth is not conducive.
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think that well, you're right. I mean, our state tax structure is not, but the state guys have gone out of their way to make sure that these top companies have gotten their tax breaks. And I mean, they're coming through with the Keystone grants and the Keystone Opportunities, KOZs, and all these other grants and programs and tax breaks to give to these major companies. So when you first look at it, our state tax structure is working against us. But if you really look deep, there is tax breaks and tax incentives. And that's the kind of thing we need, Kaz. We need an economic team that has, okay, what can we give you from the federal? What can we give you from this to a prospective business owner that wants to move here? This is what you get state. This is what you get federal. This is what you get city. Oh, you need somebody to build something for you? We'll have this for you. This is how much you do. Sign right here. Sign. This is how you boom.
Because John, you're in competition with the Carolinas, Texas.
We have one thing working against. Well, we have a lot of things working against us. The weather. We just talked about the snow. Do I want to break the record? Sure, but do I want to be known as the snowiest city ever? No. When people want to move to, but the biggest thing is transportation. As soon as GE rolled out of here, as soon as their executives got on a plane and went to Chicago, here's the wall and here's the writing. Bye bye. As soon as they pulled out of here, that
So
was
what
it.
does Chicago have that we don't have? I mean,
they're first of all, they're centrally located.
Right.
They have a way better transportation system,
That's true.
And you can get in and out of O'Hare Airport
So the weather's
anywhere around the world.
So the weather's not a factor.
No, weather's not a factor as far as that goes.
So we have to look at
plus, at the time, who was the president? Who was the president when
Obama?
Obama. And where's Obama from?
Well, here's
Chicago.
I'm gonna bring out the ugly thing in the room.
Do it.
But when you look at the South, it's pretty obvious. Their tax benefits are way better than ours.
Texas. One of them.
Even Carolina. I mean, they're
Yeah, I know. Yeah, are they?
well. They'll build. I remember the joke down there. I was down there once, and they were building mile after mile of highway, and you looked at the signs that said "Coming soon," Copes Vulcan, et cetera, et cetera. All the companies are up here.
Right.
Then you go and you look at the big thing,
Yeah.
right to work state.
Right. And they'll pay you $10 an hour, and then all the jobs will ship there. I wish that was a federal law where all states are mandated. Oh, they're talking. I saw somewhere that Pennsylvania's talking about doing away with the was it property tax and establishing tax on clothing and other things like
And
that.
then you have to be careful about that because now if you do that, that kills Erie.
And then, it kills our shopping, it kills the mall. And what happens in a downturn in the economy, a recession where nobody's going out to buy different things?
I mean, one of the big reasons why we got such a big mall area is because,
They're bussed in.
yeah,
I guess.
that mall area is not built for Erie. It's way too big for Erie.
Right.
That would be chopped in half almost.
Yeah. Nobody would, I mean, that would just, it's a bad situation.
But, when you get down to it, it's like, they won't tell you this, but in Texas they gave them the farm and they gave them, the right to work state.
I wish there was a federal mandate where each state had to, just to keep us all on the same plateau as far as business retention and business acquisition as far as tax rates.
Well, we don't. We're fighting each other.
Yeah. Not only are we fighting as a country, but we're fighting as states, and then we're fighting as cities, and then we're even, matter of fact, we're even fighting as municipalities as Erie and Mill Creek. Nobody gets along. Nobody works together. And then we all cry. And here's the thing. We have all the nonprofits, all the good paying jobs. All the nonprofits are located within walking distance from here, mostly. Mm-hmm. Between the courthouse, Hammett, Erie Insurance. Other than GE, those are the highest paid jobs.
Here's in Allentown and Bethlehem, 800,000 people. They fight a little bit, but not a lot. Yeah. Here in Erie, we're 280,000 people. Allentown's the third largest. We're the fourth largest. But look at the disparity. 280,000 to 800,000 in the metro area.
Right.
They get along better in their sandbox than we do in ours.
Yeah.
And when we're fighting each other, Summit, Mill Creek, and Erie,
well, see,
they're kind of like, okay, one of us is going to lose, but that's how they got the nice casino. They said, one of us is going to lose, but guess what?
Yeah, don't even bring up the casino.
We'll all make out a little bit better if we play together.
The whole city versus county mentality is woven into us as kids. I mean, what do you have? Is a city versus county football all-star game, city versus county this, city versus county that. It should be north and west, east and west. Or, not city east and west is even bad. I mean, but the city versus county mentality is woven into this community as a kid. It's city versus county. We can't be like that anymore. But I think we're out of time, and Mike's ready to start the music back there. But thanks for having me today, Kaz. And
I see you next week?
We'll see. Let's check my schedule. But
okay.
Are you going to be in town?
Yes.
Okay. When's Easter coming up? Pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
You have an Easter egg hunt.
We got 2 more fish dinners yet.
2 more fish? Was it crowded? Where'd you go? Would you go this week?
Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel this week? St. Stan's next week? Nice. All right, Mike, hit the music.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.